Hi everyone, this is Linda Binns, the Breakthrough Energy Expert, and I'm here once again with Conny Graf of From Chaos to Peace. Hi, and we are talking all things energy related, and since everything is energy, we always have lots to talk about. Today, we're going to talk about the two most important areas of your home. Now, every area of your home is important, obviously. The way I'm approaching this is from an energy perspective. And so let's say that you either, two scenarios. One, either your whole house is cluttered and chaotic and you have no idea where to start. One option would be to start with the easiest, whatever's easiest. We talk about that, and that's an option. But then there's another option, which is focusing on these two areas, which I'll share in a minute. And the other reason for doing this is maybe you don't have a cluttered house. Maybe everything looks great, but you want to change some things in your life. And how can you use your home to help bring about that change? Well, because everything is energy and your home is connected to you, you can change the energy in your home, which will help to bring about change in your life. And the reason I talk about these two areas as being the most important is because, well, you'll see why they're most important. But if you want to bring about any kind of change, focusing on these two areas will make that happen faster than anything else. And so even if your whole house is cluttered, focusing on these two areas first will actually help you be able to get to the rest of the house. It'll just create enough change that you'll be able to do that. So, Conny, I know we've talked about this a little bit before, and so one of the areas I'm pretty sure and that is the bedroom, right? We talk about that a lot, and I know that's an area that you like to focus on with your clients, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, because as you know, and listeners and viewers may remember, I say decluttering is self-love, and the bedroom for sure is that the most intimate of rooms for us, and where we actually are with us and we're sleeping, so we're like unconscious in there and all that. And I feel it's a very, very important room. Most people use it as a dumping ground, which hurts me when I see it. It hurts.
Yeah, it does. It hurts me too. And there are so many things that people have in their bedrooms that are so harmful that they don't even realize. And as I worked for so many years as a feng shui consultant, and I would go to people's homes and just seeing the impact that people's bedrooms had on them and their lives, and what could change when they made changes there could be quite dramatic. And it's interesting because it's the room usually people will focus on last, because they want to pay attention to all the other areas that people see. And they think that because, well, nobody sees the bedroom, only me, I'm the only person who sees my bedroom, so it doesn't really matter. The opposite is true. I always encourage people, as soon as you move into a house, get your bedroom set up.
Yeah.
Just so that it really works for you first. So some of the things, obviously clutter is an issue. You don't want a cluttered room. And that includes your closet, because usually you see your closet from your bedroom. That includes your bathroom if you have a master bathroom that you can see, from your bedroom. Clutter under the bed really, really is very, very harmful. When you're sleeping, you're at your most vulnerable. Your energy is at its lowest state. And so clutter is stagnant energy, as you know. And so that's having a direct impact on you as you sleep. What do you say to people? Because the question people ask me all the time is, oh, well, what about the beds with the drawers in then? Can I not store things in there? What do you do with those kind of scenarios?
Yeah. So I'm not the energy expert, but I know that how bad the stuff under the bed is, and that it's actually much healthier to have nothing under the bed. But I mean, I personally have a very small bedroom too. I still have nothing under the bed, but if it's for somebody absolutely not possible to have nothing in these drawers because they have these drawers already, I suggest, and you may correct me, but I suggest have at least extra bedding or something in there, maybe, something that is not clutter, but something that is useful and needs a spot to be stored, and maybe the closet. Because the room is small, there's also only a small closet. So then the closet needs to be for the clothes, and the bedding maybe could be for that. But actually must say I have not come across a lot of people with drawers under their bed. So I could just always educate and kind of insist that they take whatever they have under the bed out from under the bed.
Yeah.
And so no drawers.
No, that's exactly what I would say. I always tell people, from an energy perspective, bedding makes the most sense, and just make sure it's very neat and organized. You just want it shoved in there.
Yeah, not just all crumpled up and thrown in there. Yes.
Right. And I've had this issue with parents with children, young children who are not sleeping very well, and then you go and you find there's all kinds of stuff shoved under the bed, toys and all kinds of things. There are other things about a bedroom. Well, I always say that you should absolutely love your bedroom. It should be like think of it as your personal sanctuary, because you spend so much time there. It is a room that reflects you. It should be a very calm room. And I'm just warning people, I've got a croaky throat today. So I apologize for my throat clearing here. But it should be a room that you love. So, you should have a really comfortable bed, a really solid, comfortable bed that you sleep well in. Your furniture should be furniture that you love. And any artwork in there, think calm, think peaceful. You don't want a battle scene in your bedroom, You don't want anything violent. You don't want anything, that is not conducive to calm, restful sleep. And along those lines, there are two things that people fight me over all the time. And one is the television.
Yeah.
I really encourage people not to have a television in their bedroom, because it's so associated with activity, and even just having it there. If I go to a hotel, one of the first things I do is cover up the TV. Because I don't want just the association of activity, and I'm someone who has challenges sleeping anyway. So televisions, in my opinion, are really not good. Or if you have to have one, because people do fight me, then I recommend get a nice throw, a nice decorative throw, something like that, and cover it up at least before you go to sleep.
I even have that in my living room. So, and I don't watch. Also, because I don't watch a lot of TV, so I have this beautiful. It's actually a scarf, but it's beautiful with horses on it. So I have this scarf over the TV, and so it's not this black huge thingy standing there. It's actually the nice scene of the horses.
Or if you have a cabinet, put it in the cabinet, but make sure you close the doors before you go to sleep. I refuse to have a TV in my room. I will not have one.
I don't have one either.
And the other thing that can affect you, energetically speaking, in your bedroom, and I know this sounds odd to many people, and that is mirrors. Because energetically speaking, mirrors are very active with energy. And so many times, and one of the things I learned in feng shui was, about mirrors in the bedroom and the active energy. And if you're having trouble sleeping, I always would recommend to people, some people have mirrored closet doors, or a mirror directly opposite the bed. I always would suggest just cover up the mirror and see if it makes a difference. Cover up the mirror at night and see if it makes any difference. Majority of the time, it really did. And because it made such a difference, people got rid of their mirrors. So have you ever heard that one before?
I always advise that too. Maybe not 100% from the same reason, but I always say, what does the mirror do? It mirrors what happens in the room. So if you have all this clutter,
expands
the mirror doubles the clutter.
Absolutely. So you are an energy expert. Of course you are.
Yeah. And so I always say, like, now, like you said, a lot of people fight me on this too. They need this mirror and they don't want to cover it because that's too cumbersome, blah, blah, blah. And I say, well, but then it's even more important that your room actually looks neat. Of course, ideal you don't have, and I don't have a mirror in my bedroom. I don't need to look at me in my bed.
No.
Or even in the morning. I mean, I have a mirror in another part of the house, and I can walk there and look at me. Do I look decent if I need to do this?
Exactly.
You know, or you can have, I suggest sometimes, like, if people can change it, they can put the mirror on the inside of the closet. But even there, you have to remember the closet is ideally not just a huge, I almost said a nasty word, a huge jungle and a huge chaos. Because again, like, yeah, it might just duplicate itself in the closet, but it still duplicates itself. So.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And if you're in any doubt, I always encourage people, just try it. Take the mirror out for a few days and see if it makes a difference. Cover up the mirror for a few days, see if it makes a difference. I've never had anybody who's done that who went back to having a mirror in the bedroom, because it really does make a difference. Again, I won't have a TV, I won't have a mirror in my bedroom because of that. So those are things that help. Well, and also any things like exercise equipment, especially if it's not used,
the office. Some people have the office in their bedroom.
Oh yes, office in the bedroom. Now sometimes, because of space limitations, people need an office space, and that's the only place to put it. Well, can you put a screen up so that you can screen it from the bed? At the very least, make sure everything's unplugged and everything's put away at night before you go to sleep. Otherwise, work is always on your mind. You never get away from it. So there are many, many things like that. But just energetically speaking, just encourage people, just look at your bedroom and ask yourself, how does it feel to you? Does it feel calming and relaxing? Do you sleep well there? And if you don't, then look around and see, well, what could be creating that or contributing to that? What kind of level of activity is there from the things that you have around you? And how much do you love the things that you have in your room? So that's the first most important area, bedroom. You want to bring about any change.
I'm curious with the second room.
Dear, I'm really struggling today. The second area is not actually a room. It is your front door. And the reason for that is because, according to Feng Shui, energy enters into your home through your front door, and it circulates through the home. And so you want the energy coming to your home to be good energy. And it is a problem for many people these days, because often in a house, we don't enter through the front door. We come in through the garage. I come in through the garage. But even if that's the case, I do encourage people to use their front doors from time to time. So if I go pick up the mail, if I go for a walk, something like that, I'm always going out through the front door. So you keep it activated, which is good. You want it to be in good condition. So often, if people don't use the front door, sometimes they've even lost the front door key. They don't have it anymore. They can't open the front door. That's not good. Or if it sticks or is blocked in any way, you certainly do not want clutter around your front door. And that can be an area that accumulates clutter. Boots and shoes and coats and things like that. And it should be easily found. So when I worked as a consultant and I used to go to people's homes, it was interesting to me how often I would show up at the regular time, for an appointment, and I couldn't find the house. There was no number on it. It wasn't clear where the house was, and I might be walking up and down the street trying to identify, is this the exact right house? Especially if you have, so if people were saying to me, I get overlooked for promotions all the time, or I feel like I'm invisible, or people don't pay attention to me, or my, I'm not getting clients for my business or things like that, one of the first things I will do is look at the front door and see what is going on with the energy there. Because if I always said to people when I worked as a consultant, if I can't find you, then how are, opportunities, the people you want to come into your life, how are they going to find you? Have you ever found that people you work with have like cluttered areas around the front door, the hallway as you come into the house? Have you found that?
Oh, yeah. Like sometimes you can't even open the door properly because it's either so cluttered on the floor, or there is huge things behind the door and you can just basically sneak in. It's kind of like, yeah, we don't really want you in here.
Right.
And then they just drop everything at the entrance, including shoes, jackets, whatever, just end up somehow on the ground, and everybody just throws it there. The more people live there, the bigger the pile. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I understand it, but what I want people to get is that the impact that has on you. And I know, it's convenience, you don't have time, just throw it. But that's why you really need places to put things, have places where you can put the coats, where you can put the shoes. But if you think about your front door, and there's a reason why, if you're going to sell a house or buy a house, they talk about curb appeal, and it's as soon as you arrive at a house, you get a first impression. Right. So even the outside of the house and everything around the front door, it's all important. How I think of it this way: how are you welcoming and inviting people to your home? Because if it is welcoming and inviting, energetically speaking, then what you're doing is welcoming and inviting opportunities to come to you. And so you don't get overlooked. It's a vitally important part of your home. Now, some people don't live in a house. They might live in an apartment where all the doors are the same, perhaps on along a hallway or something like that. So what can you do there? Well, it's still the most important part. So how can you make it welcoming, inviting, or at the very least, don't let it be cluttered and disorganized, right?
Yeah.
But then always ask, what can I do to improve the energy here? And if you're in an apartment and there may not be much you can do, maybe, can you put something on the door, a little welcome or a wreath or something nice on the door to distinguish yours from all the others? Sometimes you're not allowed to do that. Could you have a little welcome mat outside, with a nice little bit of color in it? But then at the very least on the inside, then make sure it's clutter free and make sure it's welcoming and inviting people to your home, but also welcoming you home.
Yeah, I would say, like, we're always talking about everybody else. I come across that so often. People are always more worried about everybody else. Some person that maybe comes once a year, if at all, or some stranger, and we're not worried about ourselves. And I always say, like, but you see it. You see it every day, sometimes even several days. You see it from coming from outside in, but you're also seeing it when you're in your house and you're going out or you're walking by. So you are the most important one in my eyes, not always just everybody else. So,
Yes. But it was always just really interesting to me, when people would say, oh, I want you to come because, I've been at my company for 10 years and I never get promoted, and new people come in and they get promoted over me, and why I feel like I'm invisible, something like that. And then I'd show up at the house, and before I'd even gone in, there'd be perhaps bushes overgrown and, covering up the windows, the paint's peeling on the door, maybe the doorbell doesn't work, and sometimes it's difficult to find the front door. Sometimes they don't have a number on the door. You're never sure whether you actually have the right place. And so that would tell me right there and then, okay, fix this, do something with this, and then things will start to change for you right away. And it really is true, because energetically, you look at what is happening in this area energetically? Same with the bedroom. What's happening here energetically? Is it helping me relax? Is it making me feel good about myself? Is it helping me sleep? Same with the front door, though. How am I welcoming energy into my home? Can I welcome energy into my home? Because if your door doesn't open or gets stuck or there's cluttered around the area, then you're not, and you will feel stuck. So these are two.
Go
ahead.
And you're also, that's the last thing you see when you leave your home. And when you think about your home is kind of like your base and where you ideally feel comfortable, safe, and at home. And when you have all this chaos around you, when you leave your home, you take this energy with you. And again, I'm not the energy expert, but that's how I also always understand and communicate about energy. You take this chaotic energy that comes from the entrance, which you're seeing when you're leaving, and I always say too, it's like, doesn't matter whether it's the front door or the door you're leaving out through the garage, whatever the area is you're seeing last in your home, that's the energy you're taking with. So then when you're out and about, you might have some messy, cluttered area around you, and without even you noticing it, you may not feel really good about yourself, because that's also the last thing you saw and experienced, whether it's conscious or unconscious. So.
Absolutely. It impacts every single thing that you do, every interaction that you have. Because if you think of everything as being energy vibration, we are all vibrating at a specific level. And so the things around us have a major impact on that energy vibration, on how we feel, right? Do you feel really good, upbeat, happy? Or do you feel kind of tired, lethargic? The things around you will contribute to that. And then you take that energy out into the world and you put it into everything that you do and every interaction that you have. And it determines what you attract back to you. So the better the energy in your home, the better your energy is, and the better the energy that you're putting out into the world or taking with you. It's absolutely true. If you focus, I guarantee, if you focus on these two areas, anybody, whatever it is you want to change in your life, you will start to see some significant change. Just improve the energy in these two areas. Start with the bedroom, always room that's closest to you, has the biggest impact on you. And then look at what we call in feng shui, we call it the mouth of qi, where energy enters the home. It's the front door, your entrance, whether you use it or not. I really want to emphasize that. And even if you don't use it, I encourage you to start using it a little bit. At least make sure it works properly and it can open and shut. Yeah. Well, I think we'll wrap it up for today.
Let me say one last thing, because
yes.
What we often hear, or you probably too, and I hear it a lot, is always like, oh my God, and everything is out of control and I have no control over anything, and I'm not clear and everything is chaotic on the outside. And I mean, we can just look into the news and we know how how do you say that? Topsy-turvy. Everything is. And when you start with the things that are close to you, with the things you actually have some agency over it, which your bedroom, you most likely have, even if you share it with your partner, there is some control, if we want to call it that way, or agency that you have over it. So if you start there, like you just said, Linda, then your whole energy starts to shift, and then the world around you starts to shift too. It's just what happens. So,
yeah, I
bring that
really
in.
Is. And anybody, I've worked with so many people. I've had people who really doubt this, and I always say, what have you got to lose by making your bedroom nice or improving your front door? Have you got anything to lose by doing that? So just give it a try and see what happens. And I tell you, you will not want to go back because it really does make such a difference. So that's our discussion for today. And thank you for joining me again.
Well, thank you for inviting me again.
And we'll have a chat on your channel next week.
Yes, we'll figure out what we're talking about it
Yes.
then.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Well, bye, everybody. Anybody who's watching this
Bye-bye.
on the recording, thanks for watching. And yeah, we'll be back again with more energy talk. So take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.